This is 3TV News at 9. I'm Carrie Pena.
And I'm Fields Mosley. A shock in a Phoenix courtroom today as a high-profile arson case came to an end. Valley
businessman Michael Marin collapsed and died after a guilty verdict was read.
We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, do find the defendant, Michael James Marin, guilty of arson of an occupied structure.
Moments before this, Marin had reached into his bag, fiddled with something for about 6 seconds. His hands then emerged, screwing the top back onto a bottle.
Seconds later, Marin put his hands to his head. Sheriff's deputies say he appeared to put something in his mouth. Then 2 minutes later, he appears to have trouble breathing. Marin collapses on the floor. Paramedics arrived and rushed him to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Tonight, deputies are investigating whether Marin ingested something.
And Marin was convicted of burning down his Biltmore mansion to collect insurance money and escaping using a ladder and scuba gear. Well, that verdict was the stunning end to a life full of ups and downs. 3TV's Christine Harrington joining us now. And Christine, Marin, of course, was once a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, that's right, Fields. This eccentric one-time high roller was used to living life on the edge. Having traveled the globe, scaling 6 of the world's highest summits, it was his financial hardships that prosecutors say ultimately led to his fall from grace. Michael Marin, banker, art collector, adventurer, and one-time multi-millionaire, will now also be remembered as an arsonist.
We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, do find the defendant, Michael James Marin, guilty of arson of an occupied structure.
This man, who lived life large with original Picasso sketches lining his walls in his multi-million-dollar Biltmore mansion, is the same man who in May 2009 Skyped with 3TV.
Our friend and local hiker Michael Marin
as he scaled Mount Everest.
We've already gone up to 25,000 feet without oxygen.
It was a very dangerous climb to the top that nearly cost him his life.
It's a reminder that you're in a very dangerous business, and you're profoundly grateful for just the grace that gives you life to breathe.
It was just a couple months later that Michael Marin's Biltmore home went up in flames. And again, he was thankful, this time for the grace of his scuba gear.
I realized that I actually had some air left in that tank, and that's what enabled me to get back to the window and deploy that ladder. If I hadn't had those two things, we wouldn't be talking.
But the tank and the ladder made firefighters suspicious.
In my years on the job, it's the first time I saw somebody use scuba diving equipment to get out of a fire.
A month later, Marin was charged with arson, accused of torching his home because he couldn't pay the mortgage. 3 years later, a guilty verdict.
Guilty of arson of an
and a shocking reaction. Deputies say it appears he took something in court, collapsed, and moments later died. Marin was facing up to 15.5 years in prison. His death is now under investigation. Christine Harrington, 3TV.